What's the
Julie actually did it.
Actually, I was just going to blame Ash because
I get blamed for everything.
the dreaded BB words came out of your...
They did. The project started about 2 years ago, and a group of young people were asked to kind of look at the future running up to the London Olympics. And it was kind of, what can we do to kind of bring the Olympics to Northumberland? How can young people become involved? And there was a funding stream that allowed them to put all these ideas, and it correlates to a Olympics that used to occur in Morpeth in Northumberland that dates back to the 1840s. And that's kind of where the sort of the germ of the idea was, and the idea was that over the next kind of, this being the first year and the second year leading up to 2012, where we would replicate this as a Northumberland Olympics involving arts, craft, drama. And while they were going through the planning stage, they felt it'd be really good to try and immerse themselves in the 1840s as a time period, and that's where the Big Brother experience came from.
I think the group themselves have become so much more confident. I mean, they are confident young people. Well, they were confident anyways, but they've become even more confident from it. And just the decisions they've made, and just being able to do that and express what they know through this as well. And they've loved doing all the research and working with you guys and the photographer yesterday. They've really enjoyed, they've really loved all of it. So they're going to get all that from it and more, because they really want to take it on for next year and continue for next year. They don't feel... I think it was about 2 months ago, was the day we came and visited Featherstone Castle to let them have a look, and I remember Andrew kind of looked at us and with this look on his face as if to say, this is really happening. I don't think they really realised it was going to happen, and I think that's been amazing for them to see it happen and all their ideas fall into place.
And I suppose for me, Hayley, as an outsider to that little group, because you've known them for a long time, and there was 2 groups that came together, so they've all bonded now and they work amazingly as a team. But what I've seen happen is them kind of being really articulate and really bright and really confident in themselves, and their enthusiasm has never faltered the whole way through. But now what I see in them is this amazing force of confidence and project management and time management and teamwork. You know, every single day there's been no let up while we've been in the castle from any of them. They've been filming, they've been running, they've done every single job. They've not kind of said no to any request. They've really realised that this is only going to work if we've got a really strong team, and they are a crucial part of it. But they genuinely would have kind of toppled over if it wasn't for them. And I think I see, you know, and Andrew, his confidence has just grown massively, and he could, you know, they've all been interviewed left, right and centre, with journalists on the phone, and they've been articulate with cameras in their faces. You know, they're forced to be reckoned with now. I mean, that team.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, it's that thing about their own self-worth. It's that thing about they've achieved, they feel they belong, and they've found activities that they can not control, but certainly direct in a way that they feel positive about, and they're going to come away with this with so many new skills and confidences that they possibly felt they couldn't have done before, and that's great, you know. Yeah, and I think the 1840s in particular, part of the idea behind that was that it was a period in time where there was obviously this absence of luxury, so it is going to stretch them in that way, and it is going to remove some elements of that comfort zone, you know. And I think we've seen that, you know. There have been times when they have been stretched and have been pushed, but they've always responded really positively to it.
I think Simon has come out of his shell a lot. I've known Simon for a longer than the other 5 lads, and he's really come out of his shell. He's got so much more confidence, and they were really nervous about working with the photographer yesterday, and then all of a sudden they were just crawling on the ground and everything just with him, and it was brilliant to see. So he's come on really well. Rob's been phenomenal. the town crier, and he's really taken on the part. Really. But as well, even though he comes across as very confident, because I've worked with him for a long time, he wasn't that outspoken and confident prior to this at all.
I mean, I think
they've all just shone.
Yeah. I mean, in the housemates you've had, I mean, the kitchen's been absolutely crucial as kind of a hub almost of some of the activities, and you've had Brooke and Damien who have almost taken over the kitchen in some regards, and they've been kind of, today it's been, we're going to make apple crumble and we're going to do this, and it's, they've been bossing us around and getting everything done, but they've just really found that kind of environment where they can flourish, and that's been fantastic to see.
mean, there was one moment yesterday when I wandered into the kitchen and there must have been 5 bodies in, rolling, kneading, cooking, stirring, everything, and it was silent. And I was like looking for the youth worker, and there was no one in sight, and it was just the young people completely and utterly going like that, like hell for leather, finishing everything. And what they've said to me is like, isn't it amazing, Juliet, that everybody is eating all of the food that we've made, and like, there's positives on every single level. The fact that they've done it and achieved it and it's worked, the fact that people are enjoying it and are thankful, and that they've learnt a new skill. And I think with the crew and with the housemates, there's things that they've done that maybe they've seen opportunities for training, and people are saying, I want to do this further, and they've seen actually you can be a real person and you can be a filmmaker and a photographer or a dance teacher or a chef, and I think that's across the board. Housemates, there's been some of the lads in particular have done things like been really reserved. I'm not singing, no, and then the second night there they are singing with the group, and so those are the key things that have happened really all the way through, really. It'd be hard to single out. Obviously, there's some magical moments with some, when Brooke has been directing the photographer to get the press shot, and they were struggling, and they're out there, the wind was blowing, the hat was going up, and she said, we should stand aside and do this, and I thought, I hope the photographer's alright with her directing, because it's the last minutes to get the press shot. And then they said, try it. And then they were struggling again. She said, Anna, why don't we turn back to back and text each other? And that was the shot. And I just was stood there thinking, this is absolutely, you couldn't provide that kind of success. It was amazing. Mm-hmm.
From a youth service point of view and from a youth worker's point of view, it might sound a little lame, but I think that, in the space of 5 days, we've seen young people develop into these incredibly articulate, skillful, committed, resourceful young people who've worked incredibly hard. They've managed to sustain. They've put a lot of adults to shame with kind of the skills and the qualities that they've shown this week. To see them standing out there with the TV crews and just taking it in the stride and just talking to people and just being able to to shout about and to really sort of celebrate what they're doing. For me, that's just been fantastic.
I guess the hope would be that we ask all the housemates and all the crew what they want to happen with the footage, with the images, with the artwork, and see what happens from there, whether they want an exhibition somewhere, whether they want a lovely piece of print, so that it's something that they can keep, and then it reinforces all the memories and skills that they've made. But basically, we're going to kind of open it up, hopefully get all of the housemates and the crew back together and just say, right, what do you want to do for the Olympics? What is the Olympics to you? What do these values of the Olympics mean? And how can you give other young people the experience that you've had? And whether that's a Tudor Big Brother or some kind of other scary major thing that's going to have us up half the night and all of that, then so be it, I suppose.
I mean, from my point of view, I know I get very passionate about this, and it's something that I do. It really annoys me when we talk about disaffected young people and young people not caring and young people not being part of society. And I think very often it's about society not looking at itself as to why that is. And I think when they're given that opportunity, I think that as they've demonstrated this week, young people can be creative and and caring and inclusive and participant and all those things, but the fact is they want to take part, they want to be part of society, they want a chance, they want to learn these things, you know, and sometimes you've just got to, but it's when adults try and tell them how we're going to do that, you know, and it's when adults turn around and say, well, if we do this, then you can get this out of it, and that's why it doesn't work, and it's really not rocket science, and it's about them finding out for themselves and us enabling and facilitating that to happen, and I think it's a crying shame what's been going on recently, and I just think that once again there's a danger of all young people being tarnished in a really negative way, and it's completely untrue, and it's really unfair that they get labelled in such a way. If it was any other group in society, then, you know, I'd understand if they felt equally aggrieved about it.